Hi guys, this is Lada from astrolada.com with your weekly horoscope from the 3rd till the 10th, 4th till the 10th of March 2019. And what a week it's going to be, guys! So many different astrological events. I have a few predictions to do for each sign. I'll make them. First, I'll explain the astrological meanings, but it is an interesting week. Let's start with the most important thing. The most important thing is that it's going to be according to how the ancient culture celebrated the start of the new year. Because they celebrate, according to Babylonian, Chaldean, Egyptian astrology, the first day of spring or the beginning of the new year, as they celebrated. It was when the crescent moon appeared before the spring equinox. The crescent moon before the first crescent moon before the spring equinox, like Krasi told us, was when the ancients celebrated the start of the new year, and they said there was powerful energy. So on this new moon, guys, so around the 6th and especially the 7th, when the moon becomes visible, set your intentions for the year ahead. There is magic in the air. And not only that, on that day, Sun and Neptune are together conjunct in the sky. And the moon, the previous day, is with them on the new moon. But exactly when the new year begins on the 7th of March, basically it starts from the beginning of the evening, not from the morning on the 7th of March, from the evening of the 7th of March, when you see the first crescent moon on the horizon, on the western horizon. This is when you make a wish, guys, all of you. This is magical time now. This is when the astral is streaming from us, the new basically the new patterns for the next 1 year. The cosmos is imprinting it. The beings that control and that are leading humanity is sending their cosmic vibrations. The ancient knew that. They knew that this new moon is when magic happens, and that's why it was also very magical for magical rituals. This new moon was used. Basically, it's usually the Pisces new moon. That before the spring equinox, it's always the Pisces new moon. So the spring was celebrated. Now we celebrate spring exactly on the 20th, 21st of March, when the sun enters Aries, but it was before different. And this is when the moon was always the new moon in Pisces, basically the day after that. And because the Pisces is the energy, Pisces is the sign that channels uh, from the invisible worlds to the visible. It's the gate to other worlds. And as we know, the visible world is just 1%. The rest is the invisible, the unmanifest, where it's the astral, the mental worlds. They're different ones. They're different dimensions, basically. But the material itself, it's where the invisible enters the visible. So basically, ideas, inspirations, anything that will ever be created is first in the unmanifest, in the realm of Pisces, that Pisces rules. And when Pisces gets activated with this new moon, it's like a cosmic gate that opens once every year. This cosmic gate opens up the dimensions between the invisible and the visible. Of course, also scary things can come in. In Bulgaria, on this time, the new moon, basically February, in March, sometimes it's in February, of Pisces, before the before the spring equinox, is when in Bulgaria, for example, people would dress up in scary costumes on that new moon, and they call them kukeri, and they'll try and scare off the spirits that enter this dimension during this very this opening, this basically opening between the dimensions. So they would only attract, when they were scary, they would scare off the bad spirits, and they would welcome the good spirits. So I advise you do some ritual where you basically on the 7th, you can do it also on the new moon on the 6th, but the 7th is when it's really manifested, because the moon becomes visible. What do you want to imprint? What do you want to program for the next 12 months for yourself, till the next new moon in Pisces next year? And because, as we said, this channeling, this opening that's happening between the worlds, how you can draw matter from the invisible worlds to manifest in the visible, with your imagination, with your consciousness, with your mind. So with your it's time to program how what you want, and ask your deeper self during the new moon on the 6th. Ask what it is that is part of my path. Because sometimes we want things that are actually not are not going to make us happy. So first ask your higher self to align itself with your higher purpose, with your higher truth, and to align yourself with desires that are going to fulfill you. And then basically, if you feel very strongly that this is what you want to do, then set those intentions. Manifesting magic, you can do, some of you. This is what the ancients did on that new moon, Pisces new moon. They would do practical magic. Nowadays, we don't have to do practical magic. We can use a candle because it anchors and it channels that energy, basically. It helps, the thought follows and is more focused when there's something actual. Is it a candle? You're burning something, but you're making an intention, you're writing something, because we want to create something new. This is a new moon and is the most powerful of the year, new moon for new beginnings. I want you to take a pen and paper and write down the manifestations that you want. And with this, and fill them with feeling. This is so important. That's why it was such a magical moon, the Pisces new moon, because it's not only that it's connected with the invisible world, and you can draw from there anything that is not manifest that you want in this reality through the use of your imagination and consciousness. But you can infuse it with life by giving feeling in it. And actually, if you've even done any magic, real magic we're talking, not like doves out of hats. It always was about intention setting with a very strong feeling in it. And actually, it will create, and people that are psychic, people that are clairvoyant with open vision, they see that any thought accompanied by a feeling becomes like a living being. And it takes a life on its own. The more strong and focused that thought is, which means that there is more infused feeling in it, the longer that thought form exists in the invisible. And that thought form starts gathering the material around it, whether it's beautiful or ugly thought form, whatever it is. The energy becomes extremely powerful for both now to manifest. So scare away your negative thoughts, just boo. And when they come, and when fear starts coming, you go like, swear at them, chase them away, ring a bell. This is what the cookers in Bulgaria do. They're scary masks and they ring bells. So basically all the negative thoughts can be interrupted and stopped from your head. So around that day, next week, especially the 6th, the 5th, the 6th and the 7th, try to remove negative thoughts from yourself. Try to focus, because as I said, there is a cosmic opening and you want to channel the best things from you. And you want to create very powerful thought forms. This is Pisces, creating thought forms in the invisible, your imagination, which once you release them, they stay in the astral around us, and they start, the more powerful they are, the more energy they start attracting around them, and other such thoughts start coming towards them, and those entities, they get bigger and bigger until they manifest on the earth. What is the matter? The visible matter is more very strongly concentrated thought, much more condensed. So the more powerful your thought accompanied by feeling it is with your manifestation now, the more strongly you can manifest and faster. And that's why they always, in practical magic rituals, they would create those elementals, they call them, accompanied by strong feelings. And those elementals would, if you're a high level magician, or as they call them, wizards or whatever, or occultists, you can create an elemental just with everyone does, but you can control it and it can go and do stuff for you. I know it's some weird shit, maybe you don't believe me, but those things exist. Read Carlos Castaneda if you haven't, or I know people who do this. But anyway, we want to create our own reality now during that cosmic opening on the new moon. So we're going to be setting intentions. I'm not doing any ritual this time, but you do it at home. And maybe write on a piece of paper on the 7th of March, on the new moon on the 6th, what it is you want. And we're talking about new beginnings. We're not talking what it is you want to get out of your life. We're writing what it is you want to attract, what it is you want to achieve. Describe the final goal and how it makes you feel. Focus on how it makes you feel. This is how you infuse with, you give life to our intention. and how you make it powerful. So, for example, if you want to have, say, your goal is, I want to make twice as much money. Well, why does it make? What does make you feel happy? Well, because I want, for example, to be able to go on that holiday next year. Why exactly? Well, because there is this course that I want to take, or this retreat there. Well, why? What are you going to study there? Well, because I want to take, this self-help course, and because what really makes me happy is, or I want to see Tony Robbins or whatever, but I need those $5,000. So the final goal, focus on it. It's not that you want twice as much money. It's that you basically actually want to go on that retreat, or that you want to. And why is it? Because it's a, say, retreat on relationships. Because the final goal is you want to fix a problem that you have with relationship and attract the right partner. So then focus how it feels to have that right partner. That's the ultimate goal, not the intermediate goals in between. You want to focus on the final thing that really makes you happy. You know, that really, for example, you want to learn the piano, but why do you want to learn piano? Because it makes you feel happy, or because you want to be famous and make more money and buy a big house in Hawaii? Well, then imagine that house in Hawaii, whatever the final goal is. This is the proper intention setting, and infuse it with feeling, with happy feeling, with, or imagine that person, how you're making love, or imagine that person, or imagine, whatever it is that makes you happy, how it feels. You want to travel the world, you want to have many friends, So this is what you're going to be doing hopefully on the 7th and on the 6th with the new moon in Pisces. And also this new moon in Pisces is joined by Neptune. Neptune enhances furthermore, because Neptune is the planet connected. Here it is, the sun and the moon are together, which means father and mother join together to create something new, and they join in with Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So it's like a double Piscean influence. It's once, I don't know in how many, recently since Neptune is in Pisces, we've been having more of those, but they're one of the most manifesting magical openings, vortexes, portals, whatever you want, because Neptune has the energy of Pisces, so it enhances that new moon, makes it twice as able, opens twice bigger vortexes, so you can attract those things from the invisible realm, those ideas, those materials, those resources, those conditions in your life. I remember that there was another such new moon. It was 2 years ago. That was just before I gave birth to my first child, and it was again with Neptune. And it's rare, because there won't be such, once Neptune comes out of Pisces, we won't have such powerful manifesting ones. But I made a vision board then, and I still have it. And 90% of everything on this vision board came true. I basically cut stuff out. I printed them from the internet. I cut them out. I put them, and actually 90% manifested, and more than half manifested much better than I expected. So these portals, they have power, guys, and this is also accompanied, this new moon, with exactly on the same day, almost on the same minute, Uranus enters Taurus now for the next 7 years, and it's the start of a new era. It's not going to repeat for 84 years. And new moon is new beginnings. Uranus in Taurus, it's basically new beginning with a bang. And Taurus is the sign of money and resources and material manifestation. So that's why. And Uranus is about total changes and turning something around in 170 degrees, 80 degrees. It's about revolutionizing your attitude to food, revolutionizing your attitude to money, your ideas about money, your ways of making money, revolutionizing the financial system. I mean, I've done many videos on Uranus in Taurus. Actually, I've even done a webinar, which is 4 or 5 hours with April, and I'm releasing it for 30-40% off again. So Uranus in Taurus, how it will affect you personally. Check out that webinar that I did with April. And it's really discounted. We did last year when Uranus enters Taurus for the first time, and it went out again, but now it fully enters, guys. And wow, I'm so excited. It coincides with the new moon. What I'm trying to say is that this new moon in particular, I know you might have some other things that you want to focus on manifesting, but I think it's going to be extremely powerful for manifesting powerful transformations and new beginnings in connected to Taurus, connected with anything that Taurus rules, because Uranus enters at the same time at the 0 degrees in Taurus. And Mila seems to be upset about that for some reason. But so anything, so and this new energy that opens vortex to attract you from the invisible world is going to manifest through your material resources, through the sign of Taurus, where Uranus is just entering. So align your uh, vision boards, align your practical, magical visualization practice, or your list of desires, or a list of goals, whatever that you're doing, with something that is going to, something that is Taurian, something that will turn around your financial situation, something that will change your self-love. Taurus is how worthy do you feel? How do you treasure yourself? Uranus will revolutionize that with us. Actually, so many people in the next 7 years are going to awaken about their self-worth and the disparity that we're feeling now. You know, some people work for $2 a day, others work for 2 million a day. You know, this is the self-worth that one has. Taurus, well, Uranus will revolutionize that, and I believe that over the next 7 years you'll see many countries, whole societies, that all of a sudden reverse their self-worth, and they're like, we're worth more, we're worth our work, our whatever, you know. Yes, we might be laborers, yes, we might be doing the dirty jobs, but we're worth more. There will be awakening on a massive level, because wherever Uranus goes, it creates huge awakening, sudden awakening on large groups of people, sudden rise. That's why they'll be rising in the values of a lot of things. I expect that, because Taurus is prices, Uranus is sudden rise. They'll be rising a value. For example, people that are people will also start preferring, because their values generally throughout the world will start changing, and they will start saying, I would much rather pay double but use this handmade soap, or the soap from the mom and pop shop, or whatever, or the bracelet, or the bread that's made from that bakery down the road, and go to Walmart or whatever, you know. And I know for some of them it's not affordable, but even people who can't afford will start making those choices. Have you noticed it's been happening for the last time already, when Uranus has been in and out of Taurus? Well, now it will be on a massive level that will totally reevaluate the value of products, the value of food as well. You see, even people from, as we call them, lower classes, that you eat bad food, they'll start insisting on healthy organic food. They'll start awakening about the need for good nutrition. Taurus is food sustenance. People that have had bad self-value and worth, or unrealistic one, and also the ones who value themselves too much but they're not worth it, you know, this will somehow again can be turned around, because Uranus wants to shake the foundations totally of what you consider worthy, what you consider valuable, how worthy do you consider. So some people's value will rise to become what is true, and Uranus is the planet of truth, you know. So some people, starting from, you've been feeling it, 2018, Uranus was in Taurus for a bit. It will continue in a massive scale around the world in 2000, and from this next week till 2026. Yeah, on a massive scale, that you realign to your truthful value, raise it or adjust it to meet realistic expectation. People will become consciously aware about health, nutrition, self-worth, self-value. There'll be a massive rise in industries that are industries about self-love, Taurus industries, that are massive rise of industries of organic food, of land buying, because this is an earth sign, land, you know, especially land that is new technologies and techniques that are used, or antique ones that are upgraded and revolutionized. Of course, there'll be an update of the system. Maybe everything will become electronic almost everywhere in the world. I don't know how happy I'm about that, but it is going in that direction. But going back that to a personal level, because this is a personal prediction, I'll tell you that set the intentions for you for the next, and this is not only for the next 12 months, guys, because this new moon coincides exactly with the entering of Uranus in the sign values, money, worth, finances, self-love, self-appreciation as well, appreciation generally, and nature. There will be massive consciousness raising about nature, about the needs of planet Earth. Taurus is the most earthy sign, it symbolizes Mother Earth. And there will be massive awareness of switching into healthier style of food, healthier, like vegetarian or something like that. There will be massive awareness of taking care of Mother Nature. So that's a huge awakening. But on a personal level, set your intentions to 2026 on that 7th of March. How do you imagine, how do you want to revolutionize, and how Uranus is the planet of independence? How do you want to become financially independent? How do you seal yourself financially in 7 years from now? And be bold. Dare to dream big, Neptune. Huh? Don't worry about that. Dare to dream big. If you don't think it's possible, first imagine how it feels. Say if for you it's like, oh, I just want to make twice as much. All right. Imagine that you are making twice as much. What is the next thing you're gonna want out of it after that financially? So try to feel how it feels already to have what you're wanting, and then from there go bigger. It's kind of it urges you to start believing, to go to the next step rather than just dream from here to the next, corner, and not dare think after that even to peek around that corner. So it's more like, I don't know, this is not only astrology lesson, this is like some kind of coaching or mentoring pattern. I'm having Jupiter transiting my 9th house now, so I'm very preachy. So guys, don't miss this opportunity. It's so important. And also, if you don't know your personal chart, this is for everyone, no matter who you are. But if you don't know your personal chart, take our Uranus in Taurus webinar that I did with April, and you will see exactly what area of your life Uranus will revolutionize in the next 6 years, 7 years, And when you know that, set an intention in that direction. If you see that Uranus is going to affect your Venus, know that in the next 7 years, and also in the webinar, we show you how to see when it happens. You know that basically your relationship will turn 180 degrees. So set the vision from now on, this new moon. How do you want those relationships to look? Or say Uranus is going to, you see from the webinar that Uranus will transit your 11th house. Your social environment will totally change. What kind of friends do you want? Or Uranus will change, you will be transiting your first house. Your whole appearance will change in the next 6 years. How do you see it? How do you want it to change? When you harness those moments of cosmic opening, of programming that are happening, when you consciously do it, then you're not allowing yourself to be like, whatever comes, you basically align your intentions in your head to a certain vibration, and you'll attract those during that opening. If you're not aligned, you'll attract whatever comes, whatever your vibration is currently. But when you imagine how you feel, like that body to feel, for example, what it feels to be 20 pounds lighter, what it feels to be in the right job and not to have to go 9 to 5 to work, or what it feels to, whatever it is, that you want, then this is what you're going to attract in this opening. All right, so that's why I wanted to tell you how important it is. But at the same time, we also have Mercury going retrograde this week. So a bit of madness is going to start happening, guys. And it's again in Pisces. And this Mercury retrograde is not the easiest. It's quite confused. And even someone kind of was upset with me and say, why do you say Mercury in Pisces to be confused? I have Mercury in Pisces and I'm really well together person. Well, in the natal charts, it acts differently. Mercury in Pisces makes very creative people, very the other side of the, not the so practical, but it makes them, their thinking is more imaginative. My brother has Mercury in Pisces, and he's super anal about details, exactly the opposite of what you expect. Sometimes when it's a planet is like in its fall, as they call it, a person tries to overcompensate. So he's extremely crazy about cleaning and details and everything like that. So but he stutters and is dyslexic. So it shows somehow in life, when you're born with a Mercury in Pisces. But when it happens in the sky for everyone, and this Mercury is will be conjunct Neptune, square Jupiter, we'll be careful because we become basically more, our mind gets more focused than on the bigger things. And already, as we said, all those other energies predispose us to, to daydream, to think about the bigger picture, about larger plans, about larger visions and manifestations, which is great. You have to do that. This is this rare new moon with magical Neptune, which draws from the invisible. Yes, please do. But in the process of that, we might miss some details, we might make some mistakes, and we might have made them already. And now this Mercury retrograde will just point us how, because we're focused on some big plans, and already there was Neptune square Jupiter that happened in the last 2 months in January. And that again makes people dream bigger because it's in the sign of Pisces and Sagittarius, that they're like grand ideas, grand visions. This definitely happened to me. I had some visions for the future that I haven't been inspired to, but I think maybe they're a bit too unrealistic. And now Mercury retrograde will help you kind of sort out a bit which is the realistic, which is not, because Mercury retrograde is about, you know, um, basically separating the chaff from the wheat. Is that what they call it? So the not necessary things from the necessary. And also, especially in regards to some of you that have had certain ideas or expectations or idealizations, and in the grand big plans, and in the process they missed some details, so there was some miscommunication. But believe me, Mercury retrograde can be a pain in the ass for everyday little things. You forget your keys, especially Mercury in Pisces. We become more forgetful. We lose things more easy. And or things that are lost or that were confused and that we made some mistake about, they come to the surface now for us to fix it. The retrograde planet wants us to fix some mistakes, and we can do those mistakes while the time is retrograde, or we might have done them before. So the retrograde planet wants us to try and correct them, but when Mercury is in Pisces, it's a bit harder to focus on that. And what's going to happen is that, like, you might find yourself more having a bit of a brain fog, a bit more in your head, a bit more things from the past start coming back. And it's interesting because the same time Mercury goes retrograde, there is a new moon, so new things are appearing. Yes, you're setting intentions, but something old is coming as well back to be revisited, to be edited, to be fixed in some way. Also, be careful with passwords. Be careful with your credit cards. Mercury rules such things. Be careful with misplacing keys. Be careful with, you know, information that you give. You might lose it, or documents that might be lost. Mercury in Pisces, it's very imaginative. It's a fantastic time, for example, to review some imaginative work of yours, or to do intention setting, like I said, to do some research. But when it comes to more practical things, it might be much harder to focus on the details. You might miss those things, and you will have till the end of March to recover those things. Who will be affected by this Mercury retrograde? There is a very specific group of people. Not everyone will be affected. For example, almost Mercury retrograde does not affect me. It needs to make an aspect to a planet in your horoscope. And you can see whether Mercury retrograde will do this, of course. Very easy. You just need to know your time of. Am I sharing my screen? Entire screen, share. Here it is. So here it is. So we have the new moon in Pisces. You can go to if I suppose a lot of you already have registered here and you're watching your free transits, your personal transits that no one else in the world has. And look, log in or register if you don't have an account. Here I am. Oops, sorry. I've put the wrong account here. Please, baby, stop crying. I don't know why she's not coming down. Yeah, Mercury retrograde is not working. Of course it's working already. And I can't even interrupt now, guys, to go and see how the baby is, because it's a live recording. All right. So mine is paid. So yes. So go to your profile and see, are you going to have any Neptune, any Mercury transits during this Mercury retrograde? Oh, I have actually. Here they are. Even I don't know. And the Mercury transits are in green. If you show actually to the end of April, for me is here, any Mercury transits, I have just two, you're going to feel very strongly this Mercury retrograde. And whether you feel it in a negative way or positive way depend on the way of the aspect. Look, trine, like it shows here, is a positive, and so is sextile. So if Mercury is going to make a trine or sextile to any planet in your horoscope, this Mercury retrograde will actually help you in a very easy way fix something, point out some problem that you can improve, maybe return to you something from the past, have a good connection from a friend or from a past or some good association. Wow. Well, Mercury, if it's making a difficult aspect to a natal planet, like in this case, I have also a difficult one. The difficulties are the square, the opposition, and the conjunction as well, I would say. Then they'll be with more stresses. There will be first something stressful that happens, that there might be some loss, some confusion. Read what it is about, and and everything that I tell you, and it will make sense. But if you see this multiplied by 2, whatever it indicates, very likely to happen. So I just wanted to tell you how to see if I'm sorry, just a second. Okay, everything is okay. That was trying to put her to sleep. She didn't want. Sorry about that. So yes, so if you're going to have Mercury transit, according to a personal transit, this Mercury retrograde will really affect you. If it's a hard aspect, be careful with losing stuff and all such kind of stuff, with possibly with gossip or with discovering things that upset you in some way. And even if it's a hard aspect, the final result can be very good, but you get there in the most stressful way. Or you might find out something is not working, you have to fix it, and all such things. When it's a good aspect, sextile, even some conjunctions and trine, it means that it will happen in an easy way, something that you have to fix, something from the past that comes that you actually that you will find something that you lost. All right, so let's see through the 12 signs what is happening now very quickly, each of the 12 signs. And there we go. Starting with Pisces, because Mercury is going to be retrograde. Let's start in an opposite order. There we go. For you, Pisces, this you feel it the most, guys. Wow. This new moon is in your sign with Neptune, and Mercury goes retrograde in your sign. I mean, wow, you're on the spotlight. There is the programming of basically the whole year for you. It's happening now. Set those intentions, like I said, and especially in regards to, look, Uranus is entering your second house. So if you want to know specifically how it affects you, take our webinar, which is 40% off with our webinar with April. You can check it out. It's 4 or 5 hours to see how it specifically affects you and specific predictions. But generally for all Pisces, set intentions that are going to influence you for the next 7 years in regards to this third house where Uranus is moving, in regards to what skills you want to learn, in regards to third house rules, self-started business, if you want any self-started business or commercial activity, if you want to utilize any of your skills to acquire new skills which are to transform your life, set those intentions. Third house is to do with friends. If you want to, and social environment as well. If you want to revolutionize and change something in your social environment as well, set those intentions. They'll be long lasting, but for your whole life, because this is happening in your first house, this new moon. And as I said, it's very magical. This is one of the most magical new moons that can manifest as no other times. You do your vision board, guys, for sure. And you'll notice that a lot of signs are coming towards you intuitively, or maybe you're you can hear someone on the streets passing and saying something around this new moon, around the 6th, 7th, or around your birthday. If you're Pisces, pay attention what's happening, because the stars, the universe, the God, your higher self is giving you signs that might affect you for so many years ahead. Definitely, at least for the next 1 year, what will be happening, and Mercury going retrograde at the same time says that something from the past can come back. So you're having new beginnings, but you're also revising something from the past. Are you revising your whole life so you know what to leave and what to remove? So, because it's in your sign, your whole life, your whole direction, your whole appearance, your whole even career for some people, your whole what your needs are if your moon is in Pisces, is being revised, or some relationships, whatever level it is being revised, and it's being tested in a little bit. Some things have to be said which have been buried. But at the same time, these two processes, new beginnings and something from the past that's in your life that you have to fix, that you have to correct, that you have to either remove or upgrade in some way. You also might be asked to use a lot of your skills to do some feat of, some deed that requires a lot of your energy, that requires a lot of your concentrated, because a retrograde Mercury requires 3 times more effort. So 3 times more effort to pay attention to detail, to use your mind, to use some skills, some communication, something connected with your hands as well, can be with your voice, with the software, with communications, with internet, anything like that, that might require a lot of your work, but it will open, because you're putting all that hard work, it will open new opportunities for you because of this new moon. All right. If you are, and also, what else did we have? Yeah, I think that's really powerful for you, Pisces. I think you'd feel it on so many different levels. And Mercury rules your relationships, guys. So someone from the past can come back. You can hear from a partner or from a contract that didn't happen and might have to come back now to be reworked or to be put some final touches to, or from some kind of a partnerships and agreement that you can hear, or past boyfriend, girlfriend that can reappear. We can get the chance to talk to them or get some closure of some sort as well. Or some client from the past can come back as well. Oh yes, and Pisces also, I forgot to say that I'm also releasing for 40% of my Secrets of the 12 Signs. So anything that I'm teaching here, it's a foundational course. You'll know it from the start, but you'll be looking at your own personal horoscope. So it's like having 60 hours of a horoscope done by me while you are listening to me. If you're interested in that, it's cost $300 and it's only $179 that I'm releasing it till Wednesday only. All right. So the next sign is if you're Aquarius. Aquarius, for you, you will probably feel this shift very powerfully because your planet Uranus is moving into a new sign. And I want you to set intentions because this is the new year. Remember here, the 7th of March is, according to ancient astrology, the new personal year for everyone is happening in your second house. So I want you to set intentions, and your planet is moving into Taurus, which has the energy of money, finances, resources. So I want you to set your intentions for the next 7 years and visualize on this 7th of March. What do you want to happen with your resources and finances? How do you see yourself financially? How do you want to improve it as well with your self-value, with your self-worth, with the food that you want? How do you want to improve all of those things? Also, I want you to set intentions. Uranus will be in your 4th house for the next 6 years. What do you want your home to look like? What do you want your family life to be like? Who do you want to be part of your family? How many properties do you want to have? Where do you want to live? How do you want to feel when you live there? Remember, in order for you to manifest, you have to infuse it with feeling and feel it. So do these rituals and this intention setting, and you can have some amazing results. And come back to this video 6 years from now and watch it. But definitely, you'll start noticing, Aquarius, from next week onwards that there is a lot of focus that's starting to go towards home and wanting to shift or change or move, and to make you might feel even restless in one place. Or you might want to transform the appearance of your home in some way, or your environment where you live. There might be totally new beginnings in regards to a personal life, place of living, starting a family, and things like that. Because wherever Uranus goes, you go there. So yes, you have a lot of focus on family life. So this can happen for you. It can happen very fast because Uranus does it very fast as well, and it can happen in the most unexpected way. Because Uranus, your planet, is in the fourth house, so suddenly you might decide to quit this family, start a new family, or you might decide, to uh, leave your parents and go and live in another country, or you might have a surprise baby, surprise family change, or let's go and live in the Bahamas, things like that are possible. Or you might be like, oh, we have to move, we can't stay here. Uh, so what but the thing is that because of this new moon, you can channel it and focus how you want this your life to manifest in this fourth house area for the next 7 years, 6 years. Don't forget that Mercury is retrograde in your second house, Aquarius. So something that, be careful not to lose something valuable, but also if you've lost something before, it can be retrieved and come back to you. And you might have to re-examine your finances, do a few um, shifts in your resources and your finances in some way, rebudgeting, because some new ideas will be coming in regards to finances and resources and money, but you'll have to change something if there are some expenses that you didn't catch, or some, you have to do some extra effort and extra work in regards to your resources and money and finances. And don't forget that I am offering the Uranus course for 40% off. Uranus in Taurus. It explains for all the possible position. Also, I'm offering my course foundational on planets in the 12 signs, and the 12 signs, which is 60 hours. Also 40% off just till Wednesday. Check it out. If you want to learn astrology, and if you want to see your horoscope through, it's almost like equals um, this course like 60 hours of me talking about your horoscope. All right, if you're a Capricorn, the new moon is happening in your third house. So there will be, and at the same time, there's Mercury retrograde in your third house. So you might hear from old friends or acquaintances or mates some documents and papers. You might have to do something extra hard with them, you might lose them, or you might have to fix something, or they might be delayed, or you might find where you've placed some papers and documents that you've misplaced before. You might have to work on some skill to improve it, extra efforts. Mercury retrograde, you might have to use 3 times more of your skills, communication, information of some sort, third house rules, business of any sort, marketing, commercial, advertising, administrative work. And you might have to edit something there, redo it a few times, something that's not going well. You might have to put extra energy and effort, but out of this, new things will be born. New ideas at the same time next week will be born, like a new commercial project, or new acquaintances can appear. So something old you can hear from an old friend, but for example, they can introduce it to someone new. So a new acquaintance happens. Or some old trip that you had that now comes to manifest, that you've planned, can lead you to some new business ideas or contacts or something like that. Or you might have new trip that you plan that can lead you to reconnect to some old friends. Mercury retrograde. All right, and Uranus is moving into a fifth house, Capricorn, and this new moon, I want you to visualize, because it's a new moon for visualization and practical magic. How do you want to transform your love life and how you have fun, or your children, your relationship with your children, over the next 7 years? Because Uranus, at the same moment there is a new moon, enters Taurus. So how do you envision your love life in the next 6-7 years? How will your husband be towards you? How will you be towards them, or your wife? How is the romance flowing? How do you have fun? Where do you go on holidays? Do you go to restaurants? Imagine all those things, infuse them with feelings. This new moon will attract those things over the next 7 years because of Uranus in your fifth house. Or how do you envision your child, but don't impose on your child what you want for them? How do you envision your relationship with them? How do you envision that they feel, how they're happy? Or if you're trying to get pregnant, how do you imagine the child you want to have, so you can manifest those things and draw them into this through this new moon towards Uranus entering a new sign. All right. So don't forget, Capricorns, that I'm selling my course called Secrets of the 12 Houses Signs. Sorry, for 40% off. It's a foundational course only till Wednesday. 60 hours of me talking about your horoscope, basically, and telling you secrets and remedies and how to overcome things. This is a great presence to indulge in or to learn astrology. And I'm also offering Uranus in Taurus for 30-40% off. Check my website, I'll put links below, and you can see how Uranus will affect you personally, in which years exactly, and what areas of your life. Okay, Sagittarius. The new moon is happening in your fourth house, so it's allowing you to visualize how do you want your family, your home, where do you want to live, how you want your family to be. There will be some new beginnings that open and new ideas over the next 2 weeks. But also, Mercury makes you revise. Are your relationships or some problems with you and family member resolved? Well, if they're not, Mercury retrograde will bring them back so they can be resolved and some new beginning can emerge out of that. Or maybe there was some unsaid things between you and members of your family and your close ones. Well, those unsaid things can emerge now to be talked about, to be discussed. And they might be painful things, like, they might be just something that was forgotten, but usually something that's on purpose buried that emerges, and that's very full of feeling. But out of this, a new beginning will be born. So you might decide to go and live somewhere else, or to change something in your home or in the family environment and in the dynamics, So something old or something you might decide to fix something because something goes wrong in your home, and to change something because it's not working as it should, Mercury retrograde, and because of that, new beginnings are going to emerge in your home and family environment, or with vehicles, for example, or with parents. But this new moon is very powerful for manifesting matters regarding to your sixth house, because at the exact minute, hour that there is a new moon, there is also Uranus that enters the 0 degree of Taurus. So this new moon, which draws from above the invisible energies from the other worlds, from the astral worlds that can manifest here, are going to be channeled through for the next 6 years and imprinted. So now make your plan. How do you want to turn around? Uranus is to drastically turn around your work life, your health life. How do you want to liberate yourself from some health conditions? And please, on the 7th of March, Sagittarius, which is the day of the start of the new year, according to ancient astrological methods, after the new moon, this is when you're going to imprint and write down how do you want to revolutionize your health? How do you want to revolutionize your work? How do you want to free yourself from debt? 6th house is debt. How do you want to free yourself? Not how. Do you want to? You probably don't know how. But you can do that. You're going to do that with Uranus in your 6th house. But because you don't want this to be a chaotic process, for example, to lose your job and then it pushes you into looking for a new job, you don't want it to happen in a very stressful way. So that's why channel that energy through this new moon with Neptune, which creates manifesting energy, to set your intentions for the next 6-7 years, how you want to transform your work environment, your duties and responsibilities, your debt, and your health. And actually, 6th house is also enemies. So if you have some enemies, you can visualize to cut connections with them or something like that. But yes, if you want to know more how Uranus in Taurus is going to influence you, check out my course, Uranus in Taurus with April. It's 40% off. And it tells you specifically which days and when you're going to have this transit and how it's going to affect you. And it's very specific. And yeah, And also, oh yes, also I'm selling Sagittarius my course, Secrets of the 12 Signs, for 40% off. And that's like having 60 hours of me looking at your horoscope and talking to you for each planet, for each sign, for each house cast. It's foundational astrology. You don't need to know any astrology, but once you finish this course, you'll know more than most astrologers. All right. So, Scorpio, this new moon in Pisces, this magical new moon in Pisces is happening in your fifth house. And it only has good aspects, this new moon. It has a sextile to Mars, sextile to Saturn. So definitely it can manifest, definitely magical manifestations. A lot of help and support is happening. So it's happening in regards to your fifth house, which is your love life, which is um, your romantic life. And but at the same time, Mercury is going retrograde there. What does it mean? There might be a possibility for an old love to reconnect with you and for you to get closure. But out of this, a new beginning can be formed because there is a new moon, new beginnings. Or you might be revising some feelings from the past, or your how some pains, maybe, for example, that were caused to you in regards to your self-expression. Fifth house is your self-confidence. That undermine you. And usually, lovers and unfulfilled love can really hit our self-confidence. Uh, and because of those revisions, new ideas can arise in regards to, in regards to new ideas, and new opportunities can arise in regards to your love life. Um, Also, you can hear from someone from the past, but someone new can come, or you might be asked to work very hard to fix some creative project of yours, or some creative idea that you have that you're working on, to improve it, to fix it, to put 3 times more efforts and energy, whether it's a writing project or whatever it is. You have to edit it now. But at the same time, this new moon is bringing a lot of new creative ideas as well. So you might take an old creative project or idea that you have, because fifth house, the house of ideas that you invented yourself. And you can really, because this new gate is opening for creative ideas for you at the same time. So you can take an old one and really give it a new facelift and a new vision because of all those new ideas creatively that you're having. Or you can create a new one, but use old resources, Mercury retrograde, and old kind of something from the past that you can use somehow to improve it, or to make this new idea take off. um, there might be some clarifying conversations that are happening, Scorpios, with your children or lovers that might escalate a little bit, but use that to start and place a new beginning in a new chapter in your relationships with such people as well. Um, but this new moon should be powerfully used, especially in regards to your relationships. It's very relationships focused. It's about love, fifth house, but it's about also your long-term relationship, because at the same second or day, an hour, there is a new moon, there is also Uranus that enters on the 0 degree 00 minutes of Taurus. So this intention setting on the 7th of March, exactly, it's aligned. The new moon, it's on the 6th, but the crescent new moon, when the New Year's is celebrated according to ancient astrology, and when the intention setting is most powerful, starts happening on the 7th. So on the evening of the 7th. So Scorpios, on the evening of the 7th, sit with a piece of paper and write down, how do you envision, how do you want to turn around your love life for the next 7 years, and your relationships, business relationship, your relationships with your audience. Do you want to be popular? Do you want to, how do you like others to see you? How do you want to sell better? Seventh house is to do with selling yourself to others, whether it's in relationships or whether it's selling yourself in a business, how others see you, how others perceive you, how others like you. So how do you want to transform that? Do you want maybe to be gentler or kinder to people? Or do you want to attract or more intelligent people? Whatever it is that you want in regards to your partners, how do you want your partner to transform? How do you want your relationship to transform? How do you want your social status through relationships, business or personal? Who do you want to partner with? Set those intentions, or make a prayer. The spice energy is very good for prayer, for the highest good to manifest. Because over the next 7 years, guys, all your relationships are changing. And how you project your yourself to others, your popularity, all those things. And if you want to know a bit more how and when exactly is going to affect you personally, you can check out my webinar with April, which we did on Uranus in Taurus. Scorpios will be specifically very powerfully affected. And this webinar explains you the important years and the degrees and when exactly. You don't need to know any astrology. It's all down there for you. And it's 40% off. So check it out. And also, if you want to learn astrology with me, you can check out the foundational course, which till Wednesday only for another 4 or 5 days is 40% off. And it's like having 60 hours of me talking about your personal horoscope, which would usually cost lots of thousands of dollars. But this one, I speak about every position in your horoscope, what it means, how to fix it. So check out those 2 promotions I'm doing. All right. If you are Libra, there is the new moon that's happening in your 6th house. So there is a gate and an opening to start some new beginning and new ideas in regards to your health, maybe to start eating healthier, to start some new health routine, and also to start a new job or a new project of some sort, or to renew the environment at your work in some way, or to start on some new debt, or to take on some new debt, or to take on some new errand and responsibility of some sort. And even sometimes it's like to have a new pet. The 6th house is pets. But some new errands can appear over the next week. But at the same time, old ones are coming to remind you of themselves. Some old, forgotten duties and responsibilities or a debt that you haven't fulfilled might remind yourself. You might have forgotten to pay maybe some debt or something, and it's reminding yourself, and it comes up. So it might be a bit unpleasant because of Mercury retrograde, but it's good because you can fix it. That's what the point is. It's also 6th house, the house of any kind of something that needs fixing, something that's troublesome, some problem. Well, Mercury retrograde there puts a very close kind of lens over such issues in your life. So you might have to, fix such things, especially your health. You might have to examine under magnifying glass your health and rethink how you're going to eat, rethink how you're going to exercise, rethink what you want to do. And hopefully it doesn't mean that some old bad habit is coming back to you. I hope not. But you're re-examining how you're seeing and how you're approaching your health. And out of this new inspiration in a new direction is happening, maybe you might get inspired to do something new with your health, to start taking some new supplements, to do some new work project of some sort as well. But this new moon is particularly powerful to set intentions in regards to your mutual resources, because Uranus is going to enter your 8th house and it's going to stay there from next week for the next 7 years till 2026, I think. And this opening of the new moon indicates that you can now program the space around you with your intentions of how you want to change, in particular, that area in your life, to turn it around, because Uranus is about totally turning something around. So how do you want your partner to be more generous with you? How do you want to be married to someone very rich? Or do you want to get into business partnership together with someone that's going to expand a lot of your resources and your skills and your talents? How do you want your intimacy to change? Do you have sexual blockages? Do you not? Do you have fear trusting others and sharing intimately yourself with others? Well, you can reprogram now or set the intentions, and with gratefulness and saying thank you as if it's already happened for the next 7 years, how you are going to transform on a deep psychological level through Uranus transiting your 8th house. Also, are you someone who can't receive from the universe? Are you having problem accepting from others or asking from help? Well, now set those intentions with this new moon, because Uranus will transform that for you over the next 8 years if you set the intention, because manifestation follows intention. And try and feel how it feels. Try and feel how it feels to be sexually orgasmic. This is the 8th house. If you've been blocked, for example, if you don't have enough sex and intimacy, try and set this intention that you want every day, for example, or that you want your husband or your wife to turn you on, or set the intention that you want you have to have a lot of money with your finance, with your partner, or if you're taking care of someone else's money, for example, your hedge fund owner or something. Imagine your goals, what they are, this eighth house. Or if you want never to pay taxes, and if there is a legal way for it, set those intentions and you can do that, somehow over the next 7-8 years. So everything connected to the or eighth house is healing, sudden transformation and healing. If you want to have some sudden healing and release from something, that is because eighth house is the house of where you can feel like compulsive and like something is controlling you, and Uranus can totally release you from that, and it can happen very suddenly. And that's considered to a miraculous healing of a sort that can happen. If you want something like that to happen, set those intentions again on this new moon, which coincides with Uranus in the eighth house. And if you want to know more specifically how Uranus is going to influence you, because it's not going to be only your eighth house, it might be other planets in your horoscope, check my course on Uranus in Taurus, which I did, and it's 40% off only till Wednesday, guys. It's a great deal, and there's so much important information year by year to know when specifically how things are going to affect you. And also, if you want to learn astrology, I'm selling till Wednesday for 40% off my foundational course on the 12 signs. It's 60 hours basically of me talking about your personal horoscope, about all the positions in your planets, about the signs, what it means, how to overcome the difficult positions, what is your easiest positions, how to benefit. So even if you don't know any astrology, it's like a personal horoscope done by me for you. Or if you take this course to study astrology, you'll know more than most professional astrologers by the end of that class. And it's off only till Wednesday, 40%. All right, if you are Virgo, this new moon is affecting you very strongly, Virgo. First of all, your planet is moving retrograde, which means that you'll be revising your life. You'll be revisiting how your actions are turning out, what is worth to keep, what is not, especially in regards to relationships, because Mercury is in the 7th house. So in regards to contracts or time that you spend with other people, you might be saying, oh, it's not worth for me to be giving so much of my time or energy or effort to someone, or you might be called out by a partner on some actions that you've done in regards to relationships or business partnerships or agreement. So it can be made more, so this thing can be fixed so it's more fair for both sides. Or you might call out a partner, personal or business, because you're dissatisfied with something, then you can no longer bear it. So now Mercury retrograde will bring it to the surface to be discussed, and that's the right thing to do. Some omissions can appear that were missing, that you didn't know about the partnership or about another person that you have to deal with. But somehow you are, interestingly enough, there are new beginnings in your relationships, but there are also people from the past coming. So someone from the past might get in touch with you, or you might bump into them, or you might start thinking more about them. And this can give you some kind of closure, hopefully, because there is also a powerful new beginning. The new moon is about new beginnings, while Mercury retrograde is about revisiting the past. So those two parallel processes are happening. You're planning for new beginnings, so maybe a new partnership, personal or business, can appear, or contract, but at the same time an old one can appear to remind yourself of it. Or you might have a closure with an old one, which opens the opportunity for you to welcome a new one, or a new one can come, so it allows you to have a closure, Mercury retrograde. Or you just might have to use a lot of your extra skills to work in a partnership with someone, to finish something, to do something there, Mercury retrograde in the 7th, which will bring some new ideas, will give birth to some new contacts or new projects together as well. But I want you to set these intentions in regards to what you want to happen with your relationships on the 7th of March, on the 6th when the new moon is, but especially on the 7th when the crescent moon appears. How do you want your relationships to look? What do you want to improve? How do you want to be popular? What do you want? How do you want to sell your products? How do you want to present yourself to others? The 7th house is all those things. Are you good at selling yourself to partners, personal, sexual, or clients, how do you want your relationships with your clients or personal partners to be? This is what this new moon is for, set intentions. And Mercury makes you more introspective and gives you the ability to look from a different perspective now when it's retrograde. And as Einstein said, we can only escape a problem once we do it from a different state of consciousness than when the problem was created. So Mercury retrograde gives us that ability to look from a very different, even skewed way, to see it, especially when it comes to relationships, differently. And it allows for a new beginning, the new moon as well. But I want you to remind you that this new moon happens at the exactly same moment when Uranus is entering your ninth house, and it's going to be there for the next 6 years, 6, 7. And that's very rare. When there is such a coincidence, this very manifesting new moon, it's an indication that it's channeling your wishes, and it's channeling and imprinting the astral energies and the plans for the next 6 years of how Uranus is going to transform your dharma, the ninth house. It's going to transform your purpose, your meaning in life, your direction in life, what inspires you. It's going, for many of you Virgos, there will be like a sudden awakening of desire to live in a foreign country, to relocate, to move to a faraway place from where you were born, a different state, to a new environment. Many of you will have these opportunities. Virgos, many of you will start awakening to a desire to study something else, to see the world from very different eyes, much more open-minded and much more diverse. You might meet a lot of foreign people. You might want to start studying and pre-qualifying higher education. So I want you to set intentions, so make a prayer on the 7th of March to ask God, this is the ninth house of Uranus, what is going to be your purpose, higher meaning? This is the ninth house. What will give you meaning? What will give you a sense of joy in life? This is the ninth house. What inspires you? What is truly inspirational for you? Or to give you, to set intentions where you want to go, what countries you want to visit, what you want to study, what kind of knowledge you would like to have. All of those topics. And if you want to know more specifically how Uranus will affect you personally, because it's not only going to be in your ninth house, it will affect other planets in your horoscope, but that will be personal for you. Check out my webinar with April, which is 40% off, and only for a week. Uranus in Taurus. I'll put a link about it, and there we speak about in depth about how Uranus affecting each position in the horoscope will affect you. And you don't need to know any astrology to understand it, and when exactly how, and how that's going to transform your whole life basically. And it's 40% off. And also I'm offering my foundational course, Secrets of the 12 Signs, which is, I keep saying for every sign, but a lot of people skip the intro, so I started to advertise my sales in each of the signs so everyone can hear it, because some people say, oh, I didn't know you made this course 50% off. Why is it finished? Because people don't have time to watch the whole video, so I'm saying it for each sign. So this webinar is 60 hours. It's 60 hours of me talking about your personal horoscope, and each planet, each position, what it means, each sign, each house cusp. So you find out so many secrets about your life, that it's like the longest professional horoscope you've had. Or you're just going to learn astrology, if that's the point of taking the course. All right. So if you're Leo, the new moon Leo for you is happening in your 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th house. So there is like a cosmic gate happening now that can imprint and allow for new beginnings in regards to your intimacy and intimacy life, sexual life. If there is some sexual blockages, Mercury retrograde will help you recognize them and re-examine them, and actually might remind you where some sexual blockages that are blocking you from being orgasmic and experiencing union and relaxation with a partner, deep union. You can remind you of something from the past that happened, whether it's a trauma or a past lifetime. You can start remembering, or similar situation can appear, which makes you recognize where those blockages are coming in your life, which are blocking you from intimacy and which are blocking you from receiving. The 8th house is to receive. That sex is the same, isn't it? People that are blocked at ability to receive also have sexual blockages. And that's psychology knows it. That's why astrology is the psychology of the ancient times, because the eighth house rules intimacy and the ability to receive. So can you be orgasmic, and can you be very experience deep intimacy with a person and a deep bonding, and not only that, but keep a person in a deep bonding? Well, it's you can only do it as much as your traumas are, because the eighth house rules your traumas, and as much as you are able to receive. And people that usually are not able to receive, they can't ask for help from a partner. They don't feel worthy of receiving presents. They don't feel worthy of being, of somehow receiving the moral, financial, emotional support of another. Also, they have also sexual problems and intimacy problems. So you might be working on that and looking deeper at such issues with this Mercury retrograde, because Mercury wants to investigate when it goes retrograde. Where is the problem coming from? Why is this issue? So it might remind you of yourself in a certain way. For example, that uh, you're waiting money from a client and it's being delayed and it's not coming. And that's again a reflection of your inability to receive. When someone owes you money, or someone has to pay you money or pays you less, or someone you expect like a present they don't give you, or they forget, or something like that, or you ask for help and someone doesn't give you. If such situation happens for you over the next week, it's basically trying to remind you that there is some blockage happening in you subconsciously that you're not able to receive. So you have to examine those motifs. Maybe work with astrology, work with psychology. Very good when there is a new moon, to analyze yourself on a deep level psychologically, your motivations, those of others. Some old traumas might suddenly come in your dream state, or just you're thinking and you remember something happened, someone insulted you, or a guy slept with you more forcefully, or something that might be the reason, and that can come to the surface, remind itself, Mercury retrograde, things from the past, that is actually one of the reasons that you have blocked from receiving from the universe and from others. That, and just acknowledging it and releasing it and forgiving it and moving on can create a huge unblocking influence. So interesting enough, yes, something from the past is reminding you about itself, but only to allow for new beginnings to flourish. The new beginnings that will allow, for example, for you to receive more from others, from your husband to make more money, for your clients to pay you more, for you to start, to make more from some investment. In some way. On another more mundane level, it can mean that you're required to put extra efforts, because retrograde planets require extra efforts in sorting out your taxes, something that's missing, filling in the documents. There might be some delays and things like that that are more frustrating, that need a lot of more of your attention. Maybe some money that belongs to others that gets delayed. But I told you, if there are such things, they're reminding you that there is some blockage in your ability to receive. So you need to rebudget or refinance or put extra efforts into insurances, inheritances with this Mercury retrograde. Or you might have to change your finances with your partner, for example, to re-examine why you spend so much or how to spend more, or people that you rely on money for, or who rely on you for money. Maybe they're your employees or something like that, money that comes to you from others, or that you receive because you're using someone else's resources or skills in some way. So there might be some clarifying conversation in regards to that, in regards to mutual resource and finance, in regards to some investments that you do, that you have to change. Something more stressful has to be changed, has to be fixed in some way, but new ideas are coming out of that, new opportunities, because there is a new moon there as well. But I want you, Leos, to use this new moon in particular in regards to setting intentions for the next 6 to 7 years in regards to your career. Where do you see yourself? How do you want to feel liberated? Uranus is the planet of truth, and it's going to be in your 10th house for the next 6 years, and it enters your 10th house the same day that is the new moon, actually the new crescent moon. So on the evening, I want you first the moon to come out. So after sunset on the 7th of March, Leos, especially Leo rising, Leo moon, Leo sun, set your intentions, because this is when the first crescent moon of the new year. And I know it's a different new year, but this is the ancient way how they calculated it. They were more in tune with nature. They were more in tune with the magic and the portal, so they knew it. So set your intentions exactly at that time, um, at the evening on the 7th of March. How do you want to be liberated in your career? Uranus is truth. What is your truth? What's your vocation? What is your truth path where you can shine in and create something original and innovative? How do you want to innovate your career? How do you want your reputation to innovate? How do you want to be respected and looked at? How do you want, what leadership positions do you want? Set those intentions, but first make a prayer if it's going to, that you choose only things that are for your highest good. So because there will be total change in your social status, there will be total change in your career in the next 7 years. If you're Leo rising, especially Leo moon, Leo sun as well at a certain point. But if you want to know exactly at which point it is going to be and how specifically it's going to affect you, because it will affect other areas of your life and which years exactly, check out my webinar with April on Uranus in Taurus. It's 40% off now for a few days because Uranus is entering Taurus. So I want to offer this. Also, so that's very specific for you, uh, much more in depth. And also, if you want to know more about all the 12 signs, if you want to have basically like 60 hours of me talking about your horoscope and giving you the best advices, the best possible developments of your future, how life plays out, the best remedies for that, the best actions, secrets of the 12 signs is 40% off, guys, just till Wednesday. I'm making this little promotion, and I know Leos love to know about themselves. I'm a Leo, so I'm a Leo moon. The Leo moon is even more Leo than a Leo sun, if you ask me. So if you want to know a lot about yourself, this is my foundational course. You don't need to know any astrology. And by the end you finish it, you'll know what I've learned over the last 20 years, basically astrologically speaking. All right. So if you are Cancer, this new moon is happening in your ninth house, guys. And it's very spiritual new moon for you. There'll be new ideas pouring in, and especially new inspiring ideas that reveal to you what it is that your higher purpose might be, what it is that's gonna make you happy to wake up in the morning. And you might be revealed like a new direction in life that you have to take over the next 2 weeks. It can come as an idea, it might take you longer to fulfill it. But don't forget that also Mercury is retrograde in your ninth house. So it means that you might start revising or re-examining, because that's what Mercury retrograde does. It makes you look at where you're headed in life from a different direction, because the ninth house is our very idealistic goals from the future. How do you project yourself into the future? What do you expect? And Mercury says that, I need to revise something. Something's not right. Maybe something's not realistic, or something doesn't feel right. Maybe I want to change direction in regards to studies, or revise in some way in regards to pre-qualifying. Or maybe my plans for the future, something is missing, I need to change something. But those new ideas will also come, because Mercury wants you to revise something, to some ideals, that you have. But the new moon also will allow for manifestation of new direction. And so you have something old and something new coming. And it also can indicate that you're revised and reminded of some old study course or inspirational video you had to watch that you haven't. Now you'll be able to watch it or take it, or maybe some inspirational educator that you wanted to see and you haven't had an opportunity. Now a new opportunity to see someone that you knew already about, like an inspiration, like a teacher, like a direction in life, can reappear. Also, you can hear from people that live abroad that you haven't heard from, reconnect from friends from abroad or from faraway places that you haven't heard from. uh, and also you can, and they can introduce into your life new ideas as well, because there is this idea of new birth that's also happening in regards to ideas, in regards to inspirations, in regards to even some new journey might appear. Ninth house is foreign travel. So you might reconnect with some old friends that give an idea about a new journey of some sort. Or the opposite, you might go and revisit some place you've already been to, Mercury retrograde, or finally be able to go and do some trip that you've been planning before, which gives new inspirations and new ideas for new trips or new different vision, different point of view. Uh, but again, if it comes for travels, Mercury retrograde, they can create some, delays and surprises. If it's also connected to import export business, trading with foreign countries, dealing with people with academics, dealing with teachers, dealing with universities of any sort, there might be some delays, some complications, because it's Mercury retrograde, dealing with visas and processes of immigration of some sort. You might, for example, need an extra document and put some extra effort. You've missed something, you have to do something, but also new opportunities will emerge there in such areas as well. But most importantly, this new moon, Cancers, I want you to focus on what you'd like to manifest in the next 6 to 7 years in regards to your 11th house, where Uranus enters and is going to revolutionize your gains and earnings. The 11th house is your gains. And this new moon coincides exactly to the hour when Uranus enters your 11th house, which means this new moon creates a cosmic gate and opening for you to manifest and to set intentions which are going to affect you for the next 7 years in regards to this new beginning that Uranus will introduce, this new energy. And I want you to set intentions of how do you want to be free, because Uranus will want to revolution, to free in some way, to make more authentic your gains and earnings. Uranus might suddenly raise them as well. How do you want also your friendships to be, your social circle? Who do you want to rub shoulders with? Who do you want to go? How do you see your social life? Do you see yourself on yachts drinking champagne, or do you see yourself with friends hiking in the Himalayas, or do you see yourself, uh, drinking jolly songs in the pub down with a group of friends? But your friends and your social circles will be transformed, revolutionized, changed in a big way. So set intentions from that. Or do you want to be a member of an exclusive group of people? Or do you want to be, how many, do you want to reach some large audiences? 11th house is large groups of people. Do you want to become influential with large groups of people? Set such intentions. Also 11th house, the house of business. Do you have some business ideas? Ask the universe now. Some of, when a planet enters for the first few days a new sign, there is powerful activation of that area of your life. So for you, Cancer, there might be like an inflow of new ideas regarding business, regarding new commercial activities, new networks and contacts, to contact certain person who can be beneficial and suddenly change your life, transform your life, and all such things. So all of those things can happen. And if you want to know more specifically how Uranus is going to affect you personally, because it's definitely going to influence other planets in your horoscope as well, I have my Uranus in Taurus webinar at 40% off. And only you can check it out and see specifically. This was very successful webinar. I think 200 people got it, and they continue to buy it because Uranus, its influence will continue for 7 years. And if you want to be prepared how suddenly your life will change, check it out. And also I'm offering the Secrets of the 12 Signs, which is 60 hours of foundational astrology. You don't need to know astrology, for 40% off only till Wednesday. Whether you want to learn astrology or just listen to 60 hours of me basically talking about your personal horoscope and giving you advice. And all your positions, all your houses, all your planets, what it means, how to overcome it, what is the high, the low manifestation. Check it out. It's 40% off till Wednesday only. All right. And if you're a Gemini, your planet Mercury is going retrograde. Okay. So all of a sudden you can notice that things are turning in a different direction, slowing down. But you'll be required to use more efforts, to push a bit harder, to use a lot more of your skills, and especially in regards to your career, because it's all happening in your 10th house, Gemini. Is it? Yes. It's all happening in your 10th house. And you'll be, maybe some of you Geminis might require that they have to put extra efforts and energy into some work project, or maybe some work project they thought was complete will come back to them, because and the boss will say this has to be changed, fix this, edit this, so that will definitely create some extra work. But out of this, new opportunities for your reputation, to renew your reputation, can come, because there is a new moon as well, to renew, to revitalize. So out of the extra efforts that you're putting, some new, improved, upgraded reputation, next step in reputation or career can come, a new project, or it can indicate that you're taking a new project and using old skills or some old project to implement it, to make it better in some way. Or it can indicate that you might hear, if you had an interview for work or something in some place and it fell through, now you can hear from it again, Mercury retrograde. uh, or you can hear from an old boss who says, oh, look, I'm starting a new thing here. So an old boss, Mercury retrograde, says, starting a new job. Do you want to try it? Or some new, old authority figure that you know that might introduce some new idea to you. The new moon in the 10th house. Or it might mean that, you might have to fix or work on something, as I said, in regards to if there was some omitted in regards to your career, to improve some project. But it also, as I said, there is new energy coming there. And I want you to set intentions in regards to your career on this March 7th, the moment after the sun goes down on March 7th. So the first crescent moon appears. Set intentions, because this new moon, as I said, is extremely powerful for manifesting. It's very magical. It's great for magical ritual. And that means intention setting in regards to your career. And some of you might be re-examining your career over the next month till the end of April, and thinking, what is it that's not working? And something might be even vexing you, annoying you, stressing you. And the purpose of it is to make you aware and to think more what it is you need to fix and what it is you need to improve and change in your career, in your social status as well. And the new moon will also give you an opportunity this month to start something new in that direction. But set those intentions, make a prayer for the best to manifest in regards to your career, in regards to your vocation, whatever it is, or some situation with authority figure. But this new moon can definitely be used to channel your desires and to set them into an intention in regards to Uranus in the 12th house, which will be transiting there over the next 7 years. And it corresponds exactly with the moment the new moon happens, when Uranus enters your 12th house, Gemini, which means that there will be a big shift in your subconscious. Actually, some of you might go through something close to an awakening, especially the most spiritually aware Geminis, because the 12th house, the most spiritual house of the alignment with the invisible worlds, and Uranus is the planet that is like an antenna. It connects you there. Uranus can give sudden, unexpected connection with entities, with invisible worlds, with imagination. You don't need to have to start hearing aliens or to channel the Pleiadians, don't worry. Some of you, it can just indicate that over the next 6 years, while Uranus is in your 12th house, there will be like a lucid dreaming awakening. The 12th house is sleeping and Uranus can awaken, is the awakener in your sleep. Lucid dreaming can start happening. Others can, and you can plan that. You can basically set your intentions for any spiritual awakening that you want to happen now. You can pray on the evening of the 7th of March and say, I want, for example, to be intuitively able to see the future. Or I want, for example, to be intuitively able to understand astrology, or I want to be able to see my past lifetimes, the 12th house. I want to have sudden insights into past lifetimes. I want to have sudden insight into the psychology and into the psychology and the subconscious of others or of myself. Intuitively have answers flash in front of me. Uranus in the 12th house can do a lot of those things for you. And can suddenly open gates with the invisible world. So you can pray and you can set intention that this happens in a non-disruptive way. It can also disrupt your sleep a lot because this mental energy is very bzz. But yes, please do set intentions, Gemini, in regards to, and it can also mean that you suddenly want to live in a faraway country. Uranus, the 12th house to foreign countries in some way, to give you sudden access to mobility to faraway places. If you want such things, also set that intention. But if you want to know specifically how this Uranus is going to affect you, you can take my course on Uranus in Taurus. Me and April did it. It's 40% off only, and you'll see specifically how it affects you. I have my course on Secrets of the 12 Signs on 40% only till Wednesday for 4 days more. 40% off, guys, from $300 to $179. And it's like having 60 hours of me talk about your signs, your houses, everything in your horoscope. So it's like I'm giving you my personal attention in depth for hours and hours and hours just about your specific horoscope and those of your loved ones. And by the end of this, you'll know astrology is like a professional, basically. All right. And if you are Taurus, wow, Taurus, this new moon is very powerful for you this week because, as you know, Uranus is entering your sign. Your life will not be the same anymore. It's gonna shake you off from Taurian slumber. Mother Earth is going to awaken in the next 7 years as well, guys. You're Mother Earth, you're most connected, and some of you are feeling it in your bones. Some of you, I had Taurus people. Taurus moon was another, and they came because they're very intuitive. Because the moon is very intuitive towards the earth. But anyone who is Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, they're very connected to the earth. And some came to me and said, Mother Earth is awakening. She's going to show us. She's going to suddenly shock us. So earthquakes and such big things are going to be happening. The earth is going to go like that. Okay, I've had enough. But you're going to feel this on a personal level as well, in your personal life, guys. A big awakening is coming for Taurians. Uranus was just in Aries, and I'm on Aries. I can tell you my life just transformed in a magical way, sudden way. I felt I was dying. It felt like I was crashing. It turned out to be the best thing in my life. So Uranus tends to do that. So don't be afraid of this process. It's starting, and I want you to more consciously direct these energies, and this new moon is going to help you because this new moon is happening on the exact day, actually the exact day when Uranus is entering 0 degrees, 0 degrees of Taurus. So you can set your intentions on the 6th on the Wednesday, or you can do it on the Thursday when the new moon appears. But on the 6th is very powerful. 6, set your intentions. How do you want your life to transform? How do you want over the next 7 years? Because this new moon aligns, and new moons is when there is a gate opening between the invisible world and the visible world, and you start attracting manifestations. So you want to imprint those basically astro matrices that we're downloading during the new moon. You want to imprint them with your own intentions, so you don't feel like your life is tossing you around when Uranus is in your sign. That you feel that you have some control. I know it's important for Tauruses. They want to have this control and this connection with Earth, because Uranus in Taurus can make you feel very ungrounded. But I can help you by telling you that with this new moon, you can channel how your vision it is about your life, how you want it to transform. Some of you already started going through the biggest changes in their life, and channel it how you want to see it. So Uranus in the first house, how you want your appearance to change, how you want to look, how you want your Uranus will want to make you freer, not dependent on others, more independent. Uranus will want to make you also more true to yourself, for you to discover a truthful path. Uranus is the planet of truth, and it's ruthless truth sometimes. If you're still clinging on to old beliefs about yourself or behaviors, Uranus will just not allow you. It's like peeling, like suddenly peeling lots of hairs from you, like what happened, so envision how you want your life to transform in the next 7 years. And believe me, by the end of this process, some of you might be next year, some of you maybe the year after, depending. This will you'll be a brand new person. You'll be 100 pounds lighter, maybe maybe literally, but also figuratively in your consciousness, in your psychology. Uranus removes all the necessary things, make you like light, and you don't regret leaving those things behind. Honestly, it's so empowering. But now is the time to set those intentions with this new moon, guys. And um, if I know on Aries, I did, sorry, Taurus, April, she went through a total life change when Uranus crossed her sun since last April. So, wow. And by the way, we did a webinar with her Uranus in Taurus, which is 40% off now because of Uranus entering Taurus again. Check it out if you want to know specifically when Uranus will affect you, how much more in depth, not only which house, but what planet, what does it mean for you, which years this will happen. All right. And on another level, there is a new moon in your 11th house. So you can set also intentions in regards to your gains and earnings now. And also, an old friend might come back, the 11th house, Mercury retrograde, that might bring a new idea about, about your goals, the 11th house. Or you might, for example, have some new goals and some new idea that comes to you, new moon, in regards to some new project that is about gains or reputation or earning or rewards of some sort. And this new project might require you to connect with an old acquaintance who might help you in some way in that direction, Mercury retrograde. But also there might be the need to have some clarifying conversations with the important people in your life, because the 11th house is socially important house, to revise your goals and plans, and new ones will come out of that as well. The 11th house is very goal oriented. Mercury revises them. Maybe some business plan has to be reworked. Some business contacts have to be reworked, or the agreements between you as well. And new opportunities will come out through that as well. So also set intentions, new beginnings in regards to that. All right, and now final Aries. I know Aries don't like to wait to be last, but for once we give Pisces the first place. There we go. Aries, for you, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. And this is going to feel like very powerful time. It's not time to take actions for you now, Aries. This, and for the next 2 weeks, almost till the 20th, till the sun enters Aries, and this moon in your 12th house is more like make space in your soul, in your imagination, in your inner sanctum, the 12th house, to look what is needed to be removed, or to prepare. The new beginning is coming to you when the sun enters Aries, to enrich you again. But till then, to enrich you and revitalize you. But till then, you need to remove something. The 12th house is the house of letting go of something. And the new moon gives you kind of new, fresh push and willingness to remove certain things from your life. And Mercury retrograde in the 12th helps you be more introspective. Think. Mercury is the mind, the thinking. Think what it is that is no longer necessary. So it's going to be easier for you to release things, to let go of things, whether it's possessions, to do to charity, some things. But it's also going to be easier with this Mercury retrograde to displace things, to lose things. It's the 12th house of losing stuff in Mercury retrograde. To phones, softwares, phones, documents, papers, miscommunications of some sort. Be careful with those things. But on another level, if you misplaced some object, 12th house, to lose, to misplace, Mercury being retrograde there, you might find it. I lost my protection stone, talisman that Krasi did for me, and ring, and I hope I find it. I'm doing this prediction for myself. But yes, you can also replace or retrieve something that you lost, but you might lose something as well, something new, because Mercury is retrograde there. But you might have powerful insights and powerful, very release. It's a new moon, which means new beginnings. So there might be new beginnings in regards to some ideas connected to faraway places, to going to live in faraway places. So they might give you an opportunity to revisit the place that you, Mercury retrograde, revisit, or to revisit a place, a faraway place that you've been before, or to plan something about a new idea to come to you in regards to some foreign place or faraway place of some sort. But on a more personal level, it might not manifest for everyone, foreign travel, but It means some new imaginative ideas. The 12th house is the imagination. So imagination will be, your intuition can be very active. New intuitions can come back to you, can come to you. Sorry. Or you can get like an old imaginative idea that you've forgotten about. It might remind you, it might awaken now, reawaken Mercury, and this imagination on this, or it might be a fear, or it might be like a deep feeling of some sort that comes from your subconscious. Remind yourself of it. You have an opportunity to kind of, in regards to that idea, to research more, to upgrade it, to, you know, to improve it in some way, or just some new one to come. And on another level, it can mean that you're just working something behind the scenes, you're preparing for something, because Mercury retrograde and the 12th house is doing something more behind the screen, behind the scene. Maybe if you're in a job that is like a psychologist, director, you know, where they're behind the camera, they're trying to manipulate the mind and the thinking of another in a positive way. You have the power now to act behind the scenes and to influence others, their subconscious, their, to kind of subtly, not in your face. So now it's not a time for in your face actions. Let's do that, let's do this. No, your plan of action should be do subtle, behind the scenes, gently, you know, like a psychologist, like finely tuning the subconscious of others. This is where your power lies now, not in direct action that Aries is used to, but in behind the scenes. But be careful that others are not doing that to you, because some secrets can come to the surface with this new in the 12th house, when you realize that someone's been talking behind your back, and because of that you have to address it, some gossip from the past, or address something from invisible enemies, people that you don't know personally or something, or that you find out about, and these things have to be addressed. But generally, it's very good for research. It's very good if you travel somewhere abroad. Just be careful with Mercury retrograde, because there might be like lost documents, you know, planes being late and stuff like that. But if you have to travel, you have to travel. Just when you know this, when these things happen, you're like, Mercury retrograde, and you don't get so frustrated. But yes, fantastic time to study, to spiritual activities, to travel to faraway countries, to some soul searching as well, some work with psychologists, uh, looking into your subconscious in some sort, contemplation. Powerful time for very deep contemplative awarenesses. And Mercury retrograde there, often I remember when I've had that transit, it's really great to get deep insights and deep understanding about something, because the 12th house is when you understand something almost through your bones, on a level, on a subconscious level, you understand it, it sinks in. So now you can revise some old material or knowledge or information that you want, that you wanted to really sink in, that you really wanted to, you know, um, soak your bones, and understand it on another level. But very, very powerful time to visualize for you. The 12th house is the house of Pisces. You have Pisces there. There is a new moon in Pisces with Neptune, the sign, the planet of Pisces, and there's Mercury there. It's in your 12th house. I mean, wow, so much Piscean energy in your horoscope. So much Pisces is about manifesting, about envisioning, visualization, vision boards. Do that on the 7th when the crescent moon starts, on the 6th when the new moon is. Uh, Powerful, powerful time for intention setting for your areas. And not only what you want to remove from your life, but for you, intention setting in regards to your resources and finances, because Uranus corresponds on the 6th, the first day that Uranus is for the next 7 years in your second house of resources, which is going to revolutionize and change, is the first day that there is a new moon as well. And this new moon indicates, as I said, it's an opening to the invisible worlds. So this new moon can channel to you, you can manifest, and you can set intentions from the that how you want your finances to be in the next 6-7 years. And Uranus wants to liberate you and make you independent in regards to your resources and money. And Uranus wants to make you more inventive, original. Maybe a lot of you might go into freelancing, or a lot of you might totally change how they gain money, or their available resources, and their self-worth and their self-value and their self appreciation can suddenly grow. Or if it's overinflated, it might need readjustment to a more truthful level. So all of those things, how do you envision them? You even if you don't make this ritual or intention setting and focus, that the new moon allows you to channel for the next 7 years through Uranus in the second house, you start noticing like new ideas come about those things. So write them down if possible on the 6th or the 7th, because they're important. So, if you also want to know how Uranus will specifically influence you, when are your money going to totally change? When is there going to be affected through a relationship or through career or whatever? You can check out Uranus in Taurus. This is my webinar that I did with April, and it's 40% off, and it's specific for your horoscope. And we tell you how to see what area of your horoscope will be affected there, so you know which area is most relevant for you during that webinar. Or also have my foundational course, Secrets of the 12 Signs, for 40% off only till Wednesday. And it's, as I've been telling, for every sign, it's like having 60 hours of me looking at your personal horoscope and those of your loved ones. The most, you don't need to know any astrology, is the most in-depth. It's like listening to stories. It's like I'm telling stories of each position, how it plays out in the life of this celebrity or this person that I know. And you're listening, oh, I have Venus in Aries. Oh my God, this is exactly like the pattern that I'm listening about. The story you're saying exactly is like in my life, and I give remedies and all that stuff. So it's a great course, guys, whether to learn astrology or learn about yourself. And with this Mercury retrograde in your 12th house areas now, it's very good for self-analysis, for psychological work, for looking within and learning and researching. So yeah, it's 40% off only till Wednesday. So thank you so much, all of the 12 signs. I love you all. And you've been so supporting to me. I don't know. I just read your emails, guys, and thank you. I wanted to thank you. Now that Uranus is going to come out of my sign, I want to tell you, because Uranus rules the collective, people, your audience, the society. You're Uranus. We collectively are Uranus. And I want to say thank you for the magic that you did in my life in the last 7 years. While Uranus was in Aries, and you transformed me. And astrology transformed me as well. But you are the ones that made that magic and that fully transformed my self-image from a wreck to a healthy, balanced, truthful person, from someone who was a compulsive liar to someone who, well, compulsive not, but necessary, I had to for certain things, to someone who is living in the truth and who is much better here. So thank you so much. I love you.